vote counting is underway in the Kiambaa By election, and the contest has narrowed down, pitting Jubilee's Kariri Njama and UDA's John Jagona. Daniel Kariuki and Namukene Samuel are reporters of pitched camp in Kiambu County. Daniel Kariuki, there was a heavy police presence. Did this help secure the election in any way?
That's right, Lincoln. Indeed, there was extreme police presence, especially here where the tallying process that has just kicked off. You know what I'd say, in at least 20-30 minutes ago, the process has kicked off indeed. But there is still very heavy presence of police officers. We've seen trucks and trucks of police and law enforcers coming in to ensure that this process goes on smoothly and the winner is announced soon. I'm not alone, of course, Lincoln. I'm with Namukana Samuel, who has been covering this story together with me. I've been in Muguga, he's been in Kiambaa. We've met to give you a detailed report on what has been happening here in Kiambu County. And I'll bring him immediately. Namukana, thank you so much for creating time. I mean, you've been covering this as well, but I also remember you covered one in Juja. I mean, what was the difference and what stood out in this particular election?
Thank you so much, Daniel Kariuki. By the way, this is the first time I'm doubling up to as a reporter, but as a political analyst. Now, back to your question, Daniel Kariuki. In Juja constituency, basically I'll start with the number of voters who turned out today to vote. Now, in Kiambaa, we had a 20% voter turnout. Now, in Juja, it was 18%. Now, here in Kiambaa, we had 94,000 registered voters. Now, if you say 20% of 94,000 voters is around 19,000, in Kiambaa it was 17,000. Now, this is, sorry, in Juja it was 17,000. This is like 2,000 more. Actually, the number of registered voters is a bit. Of course, Kiambaa is 2,000 more than that. That in Juja, of course. Now, today also something else happened. I noticed something here in Kiambaa.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of police deployment, in Juja, we had the General Service Unit. Here in Kiambaa, I've noticed the AP officers and the number of, I'd say, the ratio of police officers to the common man here in Kiambaa is around 1 to 10. In Juja, I will tell you, it was around 1 to 2. That is 1 police officer to 2 common man. Just certifying that we had more police officers in Juja compared to what we have seen today here in Kiambaa.
And maybe allow me to ask you this question, still on matter of security. Do you think that heavy deployment of law enforcers has attributed to this smooth process that we've seen here?
Of course, we've had the United Democratic Alliance Party complaining that the heavy deployment of police officers has barred their voters from coming to vote. It was more of a form of intimidation. It is from them. I've just seen a report that has come in. But to be sincere, I think today we haven't had much apart from what happened in the morning, the scuffle between Amos Kimunya and the Kipipiri Member of Parliament, and also he was up as the majority Member of Parliament, the majority leader in Parliament, of course. Now, I think today the scuffles were a bit less because that was the only case we had today. But nothing, I think from the IEBC, they've said everything has gone on smoothly.
And allow me to bring this to book, Namukana. There was always this aspect of having super agents, and we'd normally see a number of legislatures flocking from different sides, either UDA, either Jubilee coming here to support. But however, I remember the returning officer yesterday said that there wouldn't be super agents. Do you think that particular move has resulted? Because, I mean, we are here together, we've seen only a handful of legislators. Do you think that has attributed to the smooth process?
Now, let me take you back to Matungu, to Bonchari, and in Juja, also in Nakuru. We had a class of politicians who were classifying themselves as super agents. Now, yesterday, Mr. Peter Mugai, who is the presiding officer here in Kiambaa, said in the Elections Act, there is nothing as a super agent. We only have agents. So today we saw it was a handful of politicians who were around, and I think that contributed to a much peace here in Kiambaa. All
right, Namukana, quote unquote, there's all this aspect of COVID-19. More than a year now in Kenya, but we're still having these elections. General elections are coming close. Do you think today in this Kiambaa election specifically that you have been covering, that the COVID-19 protocols was followed, and did IBC step up and follow this Ministry of Health guidelines?
I would say it was partly because now the IEBC majorly focused on providing hand sanitizers, providing cans for washing hands. But basically, in terms more so, we saw in Gashie, we went to Gashie, we saw people were crowded in lines because, by the way, in Gashie, the voter turnout was high compared to other places. And to be sincere, social distancing was a thing of the first. Before I let you go, Kariuki, you were in Muguga. What transpired in Muguga?
Well, not much difference from Kiambaa, but I mean, one distinguishing factor from that small by-election in Muguga ward, where it was that race for that MCA position after the late Eliud succumbed in March this year. That's why they were out there looking for that new MCA. There was still that race between UDA and Jubilee. Yet again, they're going head to head. The entire place was colored and painted in yellow and red, of course. But the process was smooth, unlike in Kiambaa, where there was that scuffle between the National Assembly Majority Leader Amos Kimunya and a group of youth over that question about who really is the Jubilee agent at that particular place. But in Muguga, I'd like to report that in the 27 polling stations, as what I've been able to gather, it was quite a peaceful and quite smooth process. And also COVID-19 protocols were observed on matters voter turnout. According to the returning officer, at around 3 p.m. in the evening, he gave that fresh statement and he said that the voter turnout by then was at 30%, hoping that by closure of voting, the number would actually increase to maybe 50%, being hopeful that the number would rise. But that was the voter turnout here in Muguga.
Thank you so much. We'll continue covering this by-election by and large from now till 7 a.m. when the constituency here in Kiambaa will have their new representative in the August House. Back to you in studio, Lincoln.
Thank you, Daniel Kariuki and Namukene Samuel, our reporters of Pitch Camp in Kiambaa counties, covering by-elections amid a pandemic marred with chaos, propaganda, low voter turnout and heavy police presence. We'll be giving you the results as they trickle in now.